Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nailed It Sports. My name is Caleb Nail. Naledit. Nailed It Sports. Today is August 13th, Tuesday of the year 2024. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Start to your day or into your day, whenever you're tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. I had a long weekend. It was great. Brother got married. Really happy for him. Dad went to the hospital. He's okay. It's just been I don't want to say entertaining, but we've been going. This is life. Just keep going. And he's busy. I'm sure you all know. So yesterday, I decided to just chill because I'm soft and I wasn't able to get up early and do this. So anyways, what's on the docket for today? AP poll was released. We talked some college football AP poll, preseason AP poll, USA basketball, have some NFL stuff to talk about, and Olympic reactions. So let's get into it. First, though, we've been going through the book of James. We're in James chapter 4. The book of James is practical. I love it. Easy to understand. Chapter 4. What causes fights and quarrels among you? Don't they come from your desires that battle within you? You desire, but do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. You adulterous people, don't you know that friendship with the world means enmity against God? Therefore, anyone who chooses to be a friend of the world becomes an enemy of God. Or do you think Scripture says without reason that he jealously longs for the Spirit he has caused to dwell in us? But he gives us more grace. Praise the Lord. That is why Scripture says, God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come near to God, and he will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Grieve, mourn, and wail. Change your laughter to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up. Brothers and sisters, do not slander one another. Anyone who speaks against a brother or sister or judges them speaks against the law and judges it. When you judge the law, you are not keeping it, but sitting in judgment on it. There is only one lawgiver and judge, the one who is able to save and destroy. But you, who are you to judge your neighbor? And there's a lot of good stuff in there. I suggest going back and listening to it. But James clearly points out why we fight and quarrel. And it's all because of our selfish desires. And we covet because we don't get things we want. And then he says, well, you don't get it because you don't ask. But then you ask with the wrong motive. And I see that a lot these days. People asking for things that they can spend on their own pleasures. That's not what we're called to do. So I think we should be asking so that we can serve other people, for opportunities to come up in our life, to serve other people, to love one another. right? Jesus was, people talk about servant leaders. They say, yeah, we want to be servant leaders. But do they actually act it out? I would argue a lot of people don't. And then something that I've been going through is, friendship with the world, friendship with God. I'd say I'm 29 years old. For 28 years, I would probably say I was a friend of the world. And the reason I say that is because some sin didn't bother me. Just recently, just this past year, I would say that I have a relationship with the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, and the Spirit dwells in me. I walk with the Spirit every day. But I believe in the Holy Trinity, so I believe that Spirit is God. And what disgusts him now disgusts me. Disgust. Disgusts me. And it's hard to put it into words, but it just happens like that. Once you commit your life to Christ and you truly are walking with him. Sorry, my internet is absolutely terrible. But once you're truly walking with him, you will not be a friend of the world. I'll tell you that. And you will see what the world has for you, and it's death. What God has for you is life. So I say what James says: submit yourselves to God, resist the devil. It's not easy. It is hard. But I will say we give the devil way too much power. If you have God, you can resist. You will resist, and the devil will flee from you, and then it's over. What God loves, you will love. And what disgusts God will disgust you. That's how it goes. And it is a wonderful life. Come near to God and he will come near to you. All right, let's talk sports. I think that the ultimate unifier is Jesus Christ. If you don't believe that, I think you have the wrong version of Jesus. You have the world's version of Jesus, and that's not the right Jesus. Jesus is the ultimate unifier, and right after that is sports. And I think it hasn't been used as the ultimate unifier. Once again, the world, right? The world's unifier, but the ultimate unifier is Jesus. So I pray that if you have questions, reach out to me on X, Caleb_Nail. I would love to talk more. All right. I want to talk about this AP poll that was released. So we saw the coaches preseason poll that was released. Now the AP poll was released. And, I thought actually the AP poll was okay. I'm pulling it up for you right here. Here you go. Okay. So you can head over to YouTube, Nailed It Sports. Check it out. For audio people, Georgia won, Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Bama. Those are your top 5. No surprises there. People can argue. I've seen a lot of Oregon is too high. Bama's too high. Texas should be higher than 4. Those are the 3 that I've seen. No one has any problems with Georgia, Ohio State. Now, you could say there's a curse on the 1 seed. We'll see. I think it's only been, I don't want to say, I think like 2 out of the last 20 years or so, the number 1 seed has actually won it. Preseason AP 1 seed has won it. Something like that. So we'll see what Georgia can do. I don't know. I don't know what to think about Georgia exactly. And I haven't talked about really the top 5 at all. I've kind of just glossed over the top 5 teams over the past couple of weeks. But Georgia at 1, I don't know what to think about because Carson Beck comes in. We hear a lot that Carson Beck is overrated. Everyone wants to talk about how Georgia quarterbacks are helped out by their amazing teammates around them. I tend to disagree. You have to have a good quarterback to win games. Unless you're just handing the ball off all game. But even then, you have to be competent enough to audible and read defenses. And to start on teams like that, you have to be good. So, we heard about Stetson Bennett. He won it twice, by the way. Two-time national champion, walk-on. J.J. McCarthy, I thought was good. Pro scouts thought he was good enough to get drafted. We'll see how Carson Beck does this year. A lot of people like him. I don't like saying anything until week 1. Right? This is how it should be. Right? We shouldn't. I think it's a lot of fun to project and do things like that. But then when we talk set in stone, there's no need to argue or say much until week 1. Dan Lanning at Oregon gives them a huge boost. Oregon is so fun. Dan Lanning is let me rephrase this. Dan Lanning is so fun. I hate Oregon. Can't stand them. They have all the kids that are my age that like Oregon only like them because of the Marcus Mariota era when they got their new uniforms. It's the only reason they couldn't name Marcus Mariota as a starting quarterback. Actually, it was before Mariota, and I couldn't tell you who the quarterback was. I could tell you Michael James was there and some other guys that were legit. Can't stand them. Texas, I think, is one of the best teams in the country. I think they should be higher, probably 1 or 2. And then Bama, we just don't know yet. Milroe's there, but we'll see how DeBoer does. They're going to sling the ball everywhere if it's DeBoer team. Let me continue. 6 through 10, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, Florida State. I'm going to keep going. Missouri, Utah, LSU, Clemson, Tennessee, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Miami, Texas A&M, Arizona, Kansas, USC, Southern California, North Carolina State, Iowa. Number one thing that sticks out to me, no G5 schools. This is the first time since 2014 that there are no G5 schools. Can you see this? I don't know. We don't need to see my face anymore than we already do. No G5 schools. First time since 2014. In 2014, I think there were 3 teams: Boise, Marshall, and someone else finished ranked. Oh, dang it. Was it TCU? I don't remember. But I know Memphis. I think it was Memphis. But there were 3 G5 schools that finished in the top 25. The last time no G5 schools were ranked. Pretty impressive because they're already starting behind. I don't like them not ranking a G5 school. I think that Memphis, and I've said it already on here, I think Memphis deserves top 25 ranking. Very good team. I think there's been a lot of hype behind Boise. You have to ask the question, does NC State belong here? Grayson McCall at quarterback. They have a lot returning, and I really like Concepcion. True sophomore, freak. The guy's good. USC, we know their offense is going to be actually really like USC this year, by the way. But do they deserve a preseason ranking after what we saw last year? I don't know. And also LSU. I think LSU is a little high here. Got to be honest. Hey, the other thing, no Colorado. I think a lot of people were pleased not to see Colorado. But let me tell you, one thing's for sure. The media is not ranking Colorado. After what just happened with Dion and CBS, Colorado is not getting any votes from CBS. I also thought that was a little childish from Dion. He can do what he wants, though. If he doesn't want to talk to anyone in the media, he doesn't have to. And I support that. You don't have to. But if you're going to talk to the media, I suggest you talk to everyone there. There's the guy that guy didn't do anything to you. He didn't write the article on you or ranking you at second to last in the coaching ranking in the Big 12. I think that's what happened. They ranked him pretty low. Well, win games. No, I think there's times where you have to look in the mirror. We got to win football games if I'm at Colorado. I didn't like what Deion did. I can't say I wouldn't do that though. Because when I was a coach, I lock the doors to the gyms, just me and the boys, and let me coach, let the boys learn. I don't want any parents in there, no media. We weren't good enough for any media, but I wouldn't want any media. I just want to get the team better. No distractions. Then we can go talk to the media, and we'll actually talk to the media. All right. That's I got sidetracked there. I think this is a proper ranking for Miami and Texas A&M. I am interested in Kansas State. A lot of people high on Avery Johnson, the quarterback there. Haven't really seen him play much. Yeah, he's athletic. But I'm curious to see how they do. They're always tough, though. Oklahoma State, new quarterback, but the quarterback, I'm going blank on his name right now. I like him, but he's traveled the world. He's been all over. He's transfer, older guy, but Ollie Gordon's there. I think a lot of these teams are going to have very potent offenses because a lot of them have experienced quarterbacks, great skill position players. Are the defenses going to be able to stop anyone? I mean, listen, when I look at outside of 10, when I look at 11 through 25, Missouri, great quarterback, wide receiver. Utah, great quarterback, always super tough at in the trenches and at tight end and at running back. LSU, always have great wide receivers. Clemson, Cade Klubnik. Tennessee, Nico, and all those players. Oklahoma, blanking on his name, but the quarterback, great wide receivers. Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Miami, Cam Ward. I mean, all these, Kansas and Arizona and USC all have very scary offenses. But can these teams stop teams? I think Texas A&M is probably the best chance to rise. They do start out with Notre Dame, I believe, which is going to be tough. But after that, I think they have the better defense. Outside of 10, I think they probably have the better defense other than Iowa and have a chance to rise because of their defense, is what I'm trying to say here. I think it's fun. I think this college football season is going to be amazing. There are so many good teams this year. Lots of older quarterbacks, transfer quarterbacks, but they have experience. They have a lot of snaps. It's going to be a fun watch this season. Okay. I'm going to stay in the football world, but I want to move to the NFL. And I want to talk about the rookie quarterbacks that performed in their first preseason game. So we have Caleb Williams, of course, for the Chicago Bears. Had a couple of nice plays. Man alive, this internet is bad. I think I need to see more from Caleb Williams, though. He's going to be fine. He still doesn't have an O-line. He's forced to make these plays because he's under pressure. Caleb Williams is the guy, and he's going to perform. He's going to make good plays, but it's going to be hard for him. I think Jaden Daniels looked good. Had a nice long ball. This is what I like to see from rookie quarterbacks is we're attacking downfield. Jayden Daniels also then scored a touchdown on that drive, ran it in. That's what he brings. He may be the most successful rookie quarterback off the bat just because he's mobile and very fast. And once again, these rookie quarterbacks will be have an opportunity to be more successful than other quarterbacks because they don't have film on these guys outside of college, right? So these offensive coordinators and head coaches, quarterback coaches can use them in a way that people haven't seen yet and surprise some people. And so I think the mobility of Jayden Daniels and Caleb Williams, they have that mobility, they have the advantage on the other rookie quarterbacks. However, Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, I thought looked the best. I thought both of them looked good. Those guys are gunslingers. They both have the most snaps, the most experience. If we go back and I went back and looked at my quarterback rankings. I actually had Michael Penix Jr. at number 1 and Bo Nix at number 2. Look at that. I'll take that. Now, long term, I think most successful off the bat, though, will be Caleb Williams and Jayden Daniels because of their mobility. But long term, if Michael Penix Jr. can stay healthy, I think he has the arm and the smarts to be the most successful. And Bo Nix, with the amount of reps that he got in college, he's going to be good. He just has to have an O-line, which Broncos don't really have. So I'm excited for these rookie quarterbacks. J.J. McCarthy doesn't look like he's going to be the starter. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I think he's good, but he's going to have to fight. The other thing when it comes to NFL is wide receivers. And when it comes to NFL and what do we call this? Preseason negotiations. Wide receivers are always in the news. Why is it always wide receivers? Why is it wide receivers that always have egos? There's got to be something to it. But, Ayuk is going through it right now. Nothing was out there, I don't think. Doesn't look like. So he's now negotiating with the 49ers. CeeDee Lamb was one of these guys. They always want more money. Everybody wants more money. And if I'm playing a skill position and I'm thinking wide receiver and running back, you are replaceable. There is 1,000 other guys that can do your job and do it well. And that's probably why they have big egos. They have to fight for themselves. Otherwise, they're just going to be swept under the rug because there's so many of you, so many of them. So they have to be that way and demand certain things. But it's kind of annoying. I think that guys should listen to players like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Now, those are quarterbacks. They're the best in the biz, so their job is secured. And if you're a good quarterback, your job is very secure. That's also saying something. But Mahomes put it this, and his mindset put it this way. He was talking about his contract. I'm going to keep my contract down. I make plenty of money. I can provide for my family. Let's bring in players around me so that we can be successful. And by me having a smaller contract, we can do that. Tom Brady did that. Why don't skill position players do that as well? I think they would make it easier on their bosses to keep them. I do think that because you are replaceable, right? If you're a good person and you do a good job at work, you're not going to be replaced and you're not asking for more money. They're going to keep you around. If someone's always nagging me about wanting more money, maybe I'll give it to them. But the second I get a chance to replace them, probably going to replace them because I don't want to hear it anymore. and I'm paying you more money than I would someone else because they can do your job. So I think wide receivers and running backs have to be very careful with what they say and how they act. I don't think it's hard to just work hard and say the right thing. Now we can have a conversation of, well, what is saying the right thing, right? Are we being honest if we're saying the right thing? I hope we are. Don't be political about it and walk around everything. I don't like that. But I think there's a way to do it. And wide receivers, DBs tend not to do it the way that I would do it. Maybe I would do it the wrong way. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Why are we always in contract negotiations with wide receivers, running backs that, in my opinion, are replaceable? That's a replaceable position. And not only are we always in contract negotiations, but there's drama surrounding it. Is it because of media? Is it because of people like me talking about it? Or is it something else? All right. And what do you guys think of the new kickoff? So we've got to see the new kickoff in a couple games. I think it's absolutely atrocious. It's disgusting. I don't like it. Is it safer? Sure, I guess. I want to put the over under at 3 kickoff returns for the entire season. Do you think that we get 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns? Let's do 3.5. 3.5. Okay, so 3 or 4. You going over or under 3.5? Because how it's set up, and if you've played football, you know that you scheme kickoff returns, right? You can put guys in places to open up lanes. This is much harder. Much harder. It's going to be, I think the only way you're going to have kickoff returns is if somebody just completely blows their assignment, loses outside contain, and a guy pops it outside and goes. It's, I don't know if you've seen that graph of college football kickoff returns over so many years and what they look like, and they all kind of look the same. They all kind of look like they start at the hash and then they slowly bounce it outside and go. This, I'm curious to see how these look. This is going to look like we're starting at the hash. We immediately run outside the numbers and go. I think that's the only way you're going to be able to do it, because running it up the middle and then cutting it to the numbers and up is going to be very hard. I think you have to get outside the numbers and beat that outside contain guy, which is very hard. If they're disciplined, which they are, it's going to be tough. So I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's less entertaining. I don't like the rule of onside kicks anymore. I feel like you should be able to onside kick whenever you want. Ruining the game of football. Don't do this, guys. Don't do this. All right, last but not least, give myself some time to get ready for work. Download this. USA basketball wins gold. Look, Olympic basketball is just so much more fun than regular season NBA. Right? Yeah, you're playing for gold medal, which, if you ask anybody in the basketball world, I would think they would say NBA Finals trophy is bigger than a gold medal, but a gold medal is special. I would like to ask LeBron and Steph and those guys if they would rather have an NBA Finals or a gold medal. And I bet you 100% of them would say NBA Finals trophy, because it's basketball. That's what you're remembered for, is NBA Finals. That's the best of the world plays in the NBA Finals. So, or in the NBA, I should say. You don't get the best in the world in the Olympics. But anyways, the NBA should be looking at the Olympics and take notes from them on how to make every game fun. This is my beef with American sports. Is I understand why baseball plays so many games. I understand why basketball plays so many games. But the regular season does not, between opening weekend and the playoff push in the last week, or the last 4 or 5 games, handful of games, no one cares about it. It's there's very little talked about it. We don't pay attention. I don't pay attention because it doesn't seem like those games matter. And I know the baseball diehards and the NBA diehards are going to say they matter. Yes, I get that. They do matter. But to someone who's trying to just enjoy the game, it doesn't look like they matter because guys sit out, they take breaks, especially in the NBA, right? They're on pitch. I call it in the NBA, they're on, this pitch count, so to say, where they play 5 minutes and then sit out, or they sit out of an entire game. So how can you tell me that it matters when these guys are sitting out for half a game? Because they're playing 82 games. I get it. It's too many. So the NBA needs to look at the Olympics. How do we make games more meaningful? Well, it's simple, everyone. Play less games. Or promotion relegation. Just saying. Promotion relegation. All these games will matter. Play everyone in the country twice. Accumulate points. Basketball, you can do it 3, 4, 5 times. Play everybody that many times. Maybe 3 times. Yeah, you can play everybody 3 times. And then involve the G League. There's so many basketball players in the world, in the United States. Do it that way. Promotion relegation is the way to go. There, solved it for you. But USA basketball, let's go back to the Olympics. I think USA basketball could be in trouble. Who were the top 3 players on the Olympic team? LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and then the stud, Steph Curry. The old guys, right? They're the older guys, and they are dominating. Kerr played them the most, but I would argue we were best with those 3 on the floor. Who replaces those guys? Okay, you have Anthony Edwards. Okay, we have Cooper Flagg coming up. We'll see how he does. Chet Holmgren. But I would argue we don't have the LeBron James body to come in and bang and physically dominate. We don't have that body coming up. Kevin Durant is silky smooth and long and lanky. Who's going to replace him? I would say like Anthony Davis needs to step up and dominate, but we haven't seen it lately. And then I think Steph is irreplaceable. That dude is amazing. There's only one person on planet Earth that can dribble through a double team or dance with a double team, just chuck it up from deep over the double team while LeBron James and Kevin Durant are wide open. The other 2 best players in the world not pass it to them, put up that shot, and everyone be okay with it. By the way, he made that shot. It was insane. That was insane. The guy was on fire, like he always is, in those clutch moments, it seems like. But so I think when those 3 guys are done, USA basketball is going to have a year where we're searching for who's going to be that guy. Right. And I think for the Anthony Edwards crowd, he's not a leader. I think Anthony Edwards needs to mature a little bit. Go back and watch his interaction with the team and how he carries himself. And if I was talking to Ant, I would tell him these things. Like we got to sit down. We got to be more mature about it. You're the leader on your NBA team. You're gonna have to be the leader of USA basketball because you're very good. Like we got to start acting like a leader. We got to start pushing our peers. He needs to learn what a servant leader is on and off the court. Primarily off the court. Let's not kill babies and have abortions. So there's a lot that needs to happen with USA basketball. The other thing, and I think most importantly, is who is coaching us. I thought Steve Kerr did a very poor job of coaching. There's a name to remember. Jason Tatum. I'm sorry it took me this long to get to Jason Tatum. But Jason Tatum is probably the leader, that leader that steps up and leads USA basketball. He hardly played. And it's disappointing. When you have players like that, or you have NBA Finals MVPs on your team that don't get to play a lot, it's a bummer. I don't think he subbed well. I had to listen to Steve Kerr say he had certain teams in because he liked these matchups. Whatever he did didn't pan out, wasn't good. Had to put in guys that could get their own buckets to save him. Which is fine. You could say, well, he allowed Steph, LeBron, and KD just do your thing and put Embiid and Booker around him. The great supporting players for those three guys. Yeah, and Embiid, by the way, started the comeback over Serbia. So great players. But any coach is going to look good with those five on the floor. Man, I thought Kerr did a very poor job. There was an audio floating around of LeBron James on Kerr. I don't know if it was AI or not, but it was audio of LeBron talking to KD and him complaining about Kerr, what he's doing, what he did. I don't think Kerr is fit for the United States job. I think he needs to go somewhere else. USA basketball needs to go somewhere else. Also, women's basketball won gold. Beat France by 1. Very close game. I saw a couple articles talking about how the rest of the world is catching the United States in basketball. We have Serbia, France, very good players. I think Serbia was probably the second best. They won bronze in men's, but they're probably the second best team by far. But men's basketball, we're still holding it down. But women's basketball, I don't think they fielded the best team. They didn't put the best players on there. Men's team was the same, but I don't think the women's team fielded the best team. I think men's fielded the best team, assembled the best team, supporting staff. I don't think the women's did. Still good enough to win gold, though. Last two things before I go. Can't wait for baseball in, 2028, coming back to the Olympics. I think that will be very entertaining. The World Cup was awesome. USA, Japan. We got to watch Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. And those, we don't get to see those a lot, those matchups. And Mike Trout deserves a trophy of some sort. And he's injured again. Get out of LA, Mike Trout. The Lord is telling you, leave LA. But I'm excited for baseball to come back. I think we need that. The world needs that. Second, women's soccer won gold. A fun game against Brazil. And my question is, there's all this hype around women's soccer. Like, people tune into women's soccer because they win, I think, primarily. But people don't tune in to men's soccer. And so I was asking myself, the question is, why do we think that is? I think, one, like I said about women's winning is key. If you're a Fresno State football fan, you know this. People show up, students only show up if you win. They want to be a part of it. They want to say they were there. Right? There's in this day of scrolling and not being committed to anything or anyone, they just want to be popular and get clicks and likes. So if they can say they want clout, so if they can say they were there, that's all they want. Or if they can get a video for their Instagram, whatever, that's what they want. They'll show up. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in now. So first off, men's soccer has to win. And two, I think the culture surrounding soccer, it doesn't relate to the everyday person. They have to figure out how to relate to people. I think the MLS one has to do that. Then U.S. men's national team has to do that. You know, I've met guys that play professionally. They're hard to relate to. Very egotistical, conceited. And I don't want to speak for everybody because I know that's not the case. And that's really not the case for the top. That's never the case for the top. I think that's rare. You know, probably one out of their starting 11 or the top 22 players are that way because they understand what it means to work hard and, you know, love the people that are around you and care for them because they're helping you get to that place and things like that. But there are others that are not that way, and it just so happened I met a couple of them. And so they scare fans away. They're not relatable. And then the association, the USA Soccer Men's Association does not relate to their fan base. And so I think that's why the men's team doesn't get the treatment that the women's team gets. And rightfully so, because the women's team is best in the world. So it's easy to support them. But I think that there needs to be a push to support the U.S. men's soccer team because it is a fun sport. And I don't care what you say. It is a fun sport. So once they get that push and we get people involved and they understand the sport and they buy in, I think a lot can change. But you have to be able to relate to your fan base. And that's a big issue with a lot of associations and leagues in the United States today is they don't relate. But I think that a lot of people can get past political stuff. They just keep politics out of it, please. And let's focus on the product on the field, on the court. And let's have fun. I think that's going to be my focus on this show is I want to focus about on-field stuff. And, you know, if something, I will call things out, of course. But I think we have the most fun and unify over the things that are on the field. So we can all unify that the United States needs to win, men's soccer team needs to win more games. There needs to be a culture change. And by the way, there will be when that new coach comes in. We all unify over the women's team winning, right? There's a lot of things that happen with former players on the women's team that divided. We don't need that. We need to unify. So, and by the way, that's they're doing. They didn't want anyone to be unified. They wanted to divide, so they did that. So I'm not saying it's our job. It's our job to force ourselves to unify. But what I am saying is that all of sports needs to focus about what's going on the field and stop acting like, you know, let me put it this way. All sports need to try and unify on the field and then point to Jesus off the field. That's what I need. That's how it should be. All right. I'm rambling now. I'm going to get ready for work. Have a wonderful day, guys. God loves you. And if you have any prayer requests or anything, shoot me a DM on X, Caleb_Nail, NALE. Have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.